All right, folks, welcome to Pipe Spring National Monument. It's supposed to be one of the smallest national monuments around. There's just a small building there. I think it's operated in conjunction with the Paiute tribe. And what it is a spring that was, I think, first used back in the 1870s. And then a large building was put on top of it. And that's what we're looking at dead ahead. And I'm going to show you. If you see that big building in the distance, that is the spring. So I guess we can go in there. It looks like it's a relatively new place, and they've just got some old wagons here and trying to make a thing of it. Here's some information that you can read if you want. And here's the rendition of these little shade huts that they're showing here. That's really nicely done. And then there's a fence area over there. And I walk over to this old wagon because it looks really cool. Covered wagon with the hoops still on it. Wooden hoops, nicely made. Some old tools here, probably blacksmithing. There's another wagon over there with the yeller wheels. I don't know, I would assume this is some sort of animal corral or something. There's another one over there. Beware of animals' horns. Oh, if you look way in there through the fence, there's a big old longhorn cattle. Take a picture of it. Definitely beautiful grounds. There's another wagon way over that way. And then there's this gorgeous building here. There's a plaque on the building. We'll check it out. The old doors are amazing. Oh, it says Pipe Spring National Monument, established May 31st, 1923, through efforts of Stephen T. Mather and friends. Pipe Springs occupied in 1863 by Dr. James M. Whitmore, who, with Robert McIntyre, was killed 4 miles southeast of here. January 8, 1866 by Navajo and Paiute Indians. Winsor Castle was erected by direction of Brigham Young in 1869 to 1870 by Anson P. Windsor for handling the church tithing herds and as a frontier refugee refuge from Indians. It became the first telegraph office in Arizona when the Deseret Telegraph Line reached here in December 1871. That would be right after the Pony Express. All right, so let's go check out the spring. Got this beautiful old door here. Amazing. Look at this blacksmith work on the hinges. Okay, we're coming into a very dark room here. Not sure what that thing is. Well, it looks like a cheese holder. And the ranger out there said those are fake meat, so this is like a cool storage area or something like that. Not sure what's going on in here. It's a really nice building though. Oh, and here's some other, looks like onions and such there. Hanging, pumpkins and squash over here.
I'll kind of explain it to you a bit more, but shop is right here. Now it's no longer in that channel system, it's in a piping system. So this is all filled with water right now. I wouldn't drink it though.
It's the water that's in here from here?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so it's,
yeah.
You said it dried up, but it still flows a tiny bit, or?
No, so we pipe it.
Oh, this is from the other
different
spring.
location.
Okay.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Same water, same groundwater aquifer. And then this trough, if you look in this corner here, we've got a little hole. So this outpours to the channels that head straight to the ponds.
Okay, so the pond is kind of overflow.
It was constructed by people who were here historically in the 1880s. It was used for many purposes over time, less so much a holding pond. There was a woman who created the ponds, I think more for aesthetics. And then at various points they stocked it with fish.
But did the cattle use it to drink or anything?
You know, so there would have been kind of separate little cattle.
Yeah.
What the term troughs, little cattle troughs.
Right, so the pond was more of a clean water for fish and just, but not for drinking.
Yes.
If they drink and they get it from here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this would have been their drinking water, culinary and personal purposes source, and then the ponds were like holding ponds, but less so much for the culinary and personal. Also, if the ponds overflow to a certain point, that outflows to an irrigation channel that hits the orchard and the historical location of the garden as well.
Okay.
So when they were here, they historically set it up quite well for themselves through this series of little channels. Currently, it's all piped.
Yeah. So is part of the reason for the structure sort of like a fort, like for protection from the outside?
Protection, however, by 1870, by the time this was starting to get built, the church had a peace treaty with the Navajo Nation, and the Southern Paiute largely were not threats to them. So at this point in time, their biggest threat was likely the U.S. federal government.
Yeah.
So they held this as a polygamous refuge for a brief bit. Lots of women and children would spend time here, as well as more formally at their tithing ranch.
Yeah, so back in the early LDS days, they were really frowned upon by the government, right?
They started off practicing polygamy, so they didn't end the practice of polygamy until the late 1800s. The federal government was using this polygamy, they made polygamy illegal so that they could go ahead and hunt polygamists. It was a big time of hunting the polygamists. But you're right, there was also the U.S. federal government was getting quite concerned with the level of power that the LDS Church was gaining at this point in time, and particularly political power. So it was a little bit of a ways to kind of get them situated under the U.S. federal government, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if I walk out front, I can see more about this trough and stuff.
So you'll be able to see the little irrigation channels. They won't be operating right now, but you can still see them.
And then I can walk upstairs also there? What's going on upstairs?
So, this is our tithing ranch. This half here is a little bit more for the main family. However, the kitchen and parlor room are for all. And then on this side, we saw the downstairs. The spring room doubled as a cold storage, as that keeps it temperature regulated. And then next to it was our cheese room. So lots of the machinery that they use in the production of that. Not necessarily that they may have produced everything in that room, as a lot of those processes are hot. But all the materials are in that room. Then upstairs we have our telegrapher's room. So this line is kind of a mimic of the telegraph line, and so we are situated on the first site, or the first Arizona telegraph here.
Yeah, because I remember I've been at the Pony Express sites. It only lasted, I think it was 18 months or something, and then it was superseded by the telegraph because the telegraph came right after the Pony Express.
Oh, so to my knowledge, I believe they had the Deseret Telegraph here for around 20 years. They got it 1871 to around the 90s, I would say. Yeah,
because the Pony Express was 1868, 1869. Yeah, so right before.
Very similar, but they had it here since 71 until that, probably around that same time.
Yeah, so I think they thought the Pony Express was going to last for much longer, but then the telegraph came along.
Here in particular, we had generally all women or young girls who were running the telegraph, often the only ones trained at the site to be able to do that, so they were in that room day in and day out for quite a while.
Is that the telegraph room, this one? Or
this one right?
The corner?
Not the middle, the corner. And then left to the middle will be our honeymoon suite. So that is where many guests of the honeymoon journey stay.
And then this side?
Like the family bedroom.
That's a family.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll have like the master bedroom, and then this next room is a really large room that would have dualed for different purposes, like a meeting room or church services, schooling services, but generally all the kids would roll out their cots and sleep there at night.
Well, thank you. I'm going to check it out.
And any questions?
Yeah. What's your name?
Carly.
Carly, I'm Paul.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. These doors are amazing. They're beautiful. Are these original or are these remakes?
So not the wood, however, the metalwork, all of that is original. We just had to restore the wood over time, but we tried to do it in the same fashion that it was.
So that's what it looked like back in the day. Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, so this is what's the honeymoon suite. So these were the guests stayed. Pretty nice. The wash bowl there. Some books and information. That's the rope tightening tool. That's a nice bench. And there's the telegraph information. Another guest room. There's the telegraph. That's all there is to it. Just a little button at a thing. I'll take a picture of it so we have more of a close-up. We got these stairs we go up. And these are the main family dwellings here. A little baby crib over there in the corner. A mini rocking chair. And let's go check out the next one. Oh, there's a big room. Sewing machine, crib. Not sure where that door goes. There's the telegraph sign. Tempted to say desert telegraph, but it's maybe Deseret. Deseret?
Yeah. So that is a very popular word. Food. He's named on the plaque here. He's one of the first settlers to first come here. He was from Texas, so he brought with him a ton of Texas Longhorns. So that would have been fairly popular. Not necessarily all of the cattle that they had here were Texas Longhorns, but a decent.
Looks like maybe they're going to recreate the ponds here. I guess that's what these are. Oh, and here's the trough she was talking about. It comes out of the building. If you just follow it up this way. It just comes right out of that trough that we looked at inside the building. Oh my God, the views from here are amazing. Here's another old wagon. This is not the one we looked at before. Still got the seat in it. Just the brake has seen better days. This one operates from, that's the brake lever there. Goes back to the back, to this arm here, goes down underneath, and then operates this thing right here on the wheel. Cool. Now I'm not going to do the ridge trail. It says this loop trail climbed to the top of the low cliffs that overlook Winsor Castle. The view of the Arizona Strip from the top is spectacular. Exhibits along the way point out key features of Pipe Springs, human history, and natural history. Okay, it's a loop trail, as you can see. And it shows some of the critters here. This is cool. I'm going to think about doing that. And look at this amazing view. And she said this is the Arizona Strip. It's known as a really beautiful area of northern Arizona. And this is presumably the ranch hand cabin, which I'm told we can go inside and have a look. Oh my God, this is beautiful. There's a saddle holder and there's an old bed. Here's some information you can freeze and read if you like. Some old photographs. There's some costs and stuff, so I think it's maybe some sort of bookkeeping or something. Oh, and here's some information about the cowboys and stuff. And I know there's different hats for different sort of occupations depending on what type of work you do. I'll just read this one. The cowboy hat was used to keep the sun and rain off the cowboy's head and out of his eyes. While there were nearly as many styles of hats as there were cowboys generally in the Southwest, like here at Pipe Spring, a cowboy's hat had a wide brim for shade and a tall peaked crown for cooling. So it's probably the one like this one that is what they're talking about. So in this particular area, I'm just gonna look over here. Oh, here's another overlook, and then there's another plaque out here. Some folks on the trail up there. I'll probably actually go ahead and do that. They're just talking about how there used to be all grasses out here, and then the sheep and cattle from the Western man kind of decimated all the grasses, and that kind of ruined it. So, okay, here's a sign that says the ridge trail is only a half-mile loop. I think we can handle that. Here's some information about the telegraph. 995 miles of wire. The Deseret Telegraph went from here to Salt Lake City. Oh, I see. It's different from the Transcontinental Telegraph. Now I can see the roof of the cowboy cabin. It's the mud roof. They look like they're a little bit drying up, the cacti. And this is where they're talking about the incredible views of the Arizona Strip from the hiking trail. It goes up higher though. All right, so we're getting onto the high point. This trail, you can see the cowboy cabin down below there. Beautiful views of the Arizona Strip. As they promised, this might be one of the last switchbacks going up. Oh, I see one more. Beautiful hike. This is really a spectacular short hike. It's beautiful. Maybe one more switchback, huh? Never ending. Not a switchback, but a left-hander. Up some stairs. All right, so here's an important thing that I've been kind of wondering about. Is I knew about the junipers, but the other tree, which is the two main trees are the juniper and the pinyon pine. There's the pinyon pine right there. And this right here, of course, is the juniper. And this is probably what's considered the highest lookout right here. I'm guessing. Beautiful view of the Arizona Strip. A little Virgo rain over there. From this ridge, you're looking south over the Arizona Strip. This high plateau is cut off from the rest of Arizona by depths of the Grand Canyon, which lies unseen over the far horizon. Only footbridges cross the Colorado River between Navajo Bridge and Marble Canyon to Hoover Dam, some 220 miles. There is a sort of depiction of where we are, the Arizona Strip. So it's just the northwest part of the state. Kaibab Paiute land. Keep off. But they've got a gate that can be negotiated, but we won't be doing that. Oh, this is another nice view that to the north. We're looking at the Arizona Strip to the south. And now we're kind of heading north. You can see in the distance there's some beautiful cliffs. This is a lovely area. Well, here's an interesting one. Powell's surveyors at Pipe Spring. I read about it, but apparently they came through here. Now we're opening up to a view from above. You can see those corrals down there, and the I guess they call that building the castle. And there's the escape door that I was talking to Carly about. I don't know if you can see it on the wide angle, but I'll get a telephoto shot here of the building. That's pretty nice. All right, so the trail comes right back down to the castle here. Well, it comes right behind on where the escape door is, and now I see it makes sense because the door is at a level that's at the correct height to make an easy escape. And then we're just kind of coming back around. Oh, and there's the arrow, so you'll be able to see sort of a big lollipop loop. Cool. All right, folks, so that concludes our tour of the Pipe Spring National Monument, and that was actually really fun. It was really well maintained, really beautiful. Carly was fun to talk to, and the hike was amazing, and the views of the Arizona Strip were amazing. So I, for one, would definitely recommend stopping here, and it's very small, so you can do this thing in like an hour. So give it the old thumbs up, and thanks for watching.